Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning acknowledging that you are the God of all wisdom. We ask that your word today would remind us all of your wisdom. We pray according to James 1 and 5 that says, if any lack wisdom, let him ask, and you will freely give. Today we pray that you bless every commissioner, every staff member, every community leader that is gathered in this room. Guide their thoughts, steady their emotions, align their decisions with justice, compassion, and well-being for every resident and employee of Miami-Dade County. Give us unity without uniformity, conviction without hostility, progress without leaving anyone behind. Let peace rule in this meeting, clarity guide every conversation, and integrity steer every decision. We pray for divine protection over every first responder, and we pray today that your steady hand would be in this room. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
You may be seated. All righty, good morning. All right, Madam Attorney. Before we get started, guys, once again, I did this at our last, I guess it was committee? No, it was zoning and CDMP. But now that we're at a full board, I want to take the opportunity to officially welcome Commissioner Vicky Lopez to our dais at our first Board of County Commissioners meeting. So I think that deserves a round of applause. Thank you. All right, Madam Attorney, is it in order for me to move into reasonable opportunity for the public to be heard at this time?
Mr. Chair, can I take a moment of personal privilege to recognize the two National Guardsmen that were injured and killed last week in Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely. Should we all stand and take a moment of silence?
Yes, please. If we could take a moment of silence for Specialist Sarah Beckstorm, who was killed, and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who was wounded.
Please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Commissioner. All right, Madam Attorney.
Good morning, and yes.
All right, I will go ahead and open up reasonable opportunity for the public to be heard at this time. When I call your name, please state the item you're speaking on, your name and address, and you'll have 2 minutes to speak. I have Mercy Perez and Isel Rodriguez. Mercy Perez and Isel Rodriguez. You may
Ready? Morning, my name is Mercy. Address is 14960 Southwest 74 Terrace, Miami, Florida 33193. And it's regarding item 14A2 about the recall. I'm a little bit upset that we didn't know that this wasn't available for us until we started doing the petitions, and with back and forth going to the clerk's office and Alina's office, we didn't know anything was going on until recently last week that we did not have a department to do the recall. So I am for it. It's our right, taxpayers' rights, to do a recall on a local official that is not doing the correct job. So again, I'm for it. I think we should do it. There's in change.org, there's a lot of petitions going on, and no one knew that there was no department available for that. So I'm for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Isel Rodriguez, 9880 North Kendall Drive.
Isel Rodriguez, 9880 Kendall Drive.
Estoy hablando del recall,
I'm going to talk about the recall,
del derecho del pueblo a sacar del cargo a un funcionario electo cuando traiciona la confianza pública.
the right that people has to remove from the position an elected officer once he or she betrays the public trust.
Y en Miami lo que vemos es un sistema que en la práctica lo bloquea con confusión, silencio y reglas que no están claras para el ciudadano común.
What we see here in Miami-Dade is a day blockade in practically speaking, with creating confusion, silence, and rules that are not clear to the common citizen.
Aquí los representantes institucionales tienen títulos y oficinas.
Here, the official representatives have titles and offices.
La Junta de Comisionados, la Alcaldía del Condado, la Abogacía del Condado y la Administración que ejecuta.
I'm talking about the BCC, the Board of County Commissioners, the mayor's office, the lawyers from the county, and the administration that executes these rules.
Si el condado no tiene publicado y explicado en lenguaje sencillo y con base legal qué aplica y qué no aplica para el recall, eso no es un detalle técnico, es una forma de blindar el poder.
If the county and the administration do not publish very clearly on legal base, what applies and what does not apply, this is not a technicality. This is just a way of blinding the power.
Y en lo electoral, la oficina que administra las elecciones debe orientar con claridad dónde empieza y termina su competencia, sin marear al residente.
Concerning the elections, the office that administrates elections should orientate very clearly where to start and where their competence finishes, without trying to confuse the public.
El pueblo no trabaja para el gobierno trabaja para el pueblo.
The people does not work for the government. It's all the way around. The government works for the people.
Si el recall se vuelve imposible por diseño o por negligencia, entonces Miami-Dade está fallando su obligación básica y rendición de cuentas.
If the recall it becomes impossible due to its design or due to negligence, then Miami-Dade is failing their basic obligation, which is, their balances, accountability.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, reasonable opportunity is now closed. Those were all the public speakers I had signed up to speak on reasonable opportunity. Madam Attorney, is it in order to set the agenda at this time?
Yes, I do have some preliminary matters and changes. Item 8A1 and item 8A2, Senator Garcia is adding his name to the pull list for those items. On item 8A3, Commissioner Bermudez is releasing his pull of this item. He was the only pulling commissioner, so with the setting of the agenda, 8A3 will be approved.
Okay.
On 8A4, Commissioner Bermudez is releasing his pull of this item, but Senator Garcia is adding this item to the pull list. So 8A4 will remain on the pull list. 8A5, Senator Garcia adds this item to the pull list. 11A4 and 11A6. This item is being pulled both by Senator Garcia and Commissioner Milian-Orbis. I believe they both have an amendment. Commissioner Milian-Orbis, they wish to merge the two items. I can read the amendment now, and if that's satisfactory, then
works
we
for
can
me.
just approve it with the setting of the agenda.
That works for me, if it works for them.
Is that okay, Senator Garcia? Okay, then this would be an amendment to item 11A6, and it would be to amend Section 2 to require that the report pertaining to the financial dependency of the legacy CPOs also provide some historical context for how long each organization has received county grant funding and the amount of the grant awards, any other funding the organization receives from the county, and any other funding the organization receives from the state, federal, and private funds. The report should also advise of any duplication of officers or staff among multiple legacy CBOs. So with the setting of the agenda, item 11A6 will be approved as amended, and 11A4 will be withdrawn.
Mr. Chairman, if I may co-prime that item.
11A6?
Commissioner Orbis, is that?
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I know that the co-prime makes it a little more difficult for us to work on the item throughout the process, but I'm happy to have you on.
I'll be fine if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
leave, but it's just,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may too, my item already had the legacy CBOs. It's just adding the additional, the request to make sure that everything's in there.
Fair
So,
enough. So it's,
yes.
it's in the right posture at this point, Madam Attorney?
yes.
I believe.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
So with the setting of the agenda, we'll approve that. And
And 11A4 will be withdrawn. We also have on 11A14 and 11A15, Commissioner Gilbert is releasing his pull of these two items. He was the only pulling commissioner. So with the setting of the agenda, 11A14 and 11A15 will be approved. I just received two additional pulls. Item 8P3, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. It's 8P3 and its supplement. She's adding this item to the pull list.
I'll release that.
Okay, then with the setting of the agenda, AP3 will be approved. And Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, what about 11A9?
Release, thank you.
Release? Okay. So those are all the pulls for your, we have additional requests for co-sponsorship. Senator Garcia, at the appropriate time, will bifurcate item 5A. And he wishes, I'm sorry, to co-sponsor. These are co-sponsors. Senator Garcia, co-sponsor 5A, and co-sponsor 11A6, 11A7, 11A8, and 11A13. The items to be considered at today's meeting will be those listed in the printed final agenda with the additions, deferrals, withdrawals, and scrivener's errors noted in the chairman's memorandum and the items I just mentioned. The commission will approve all of these items by a single vote setting the agenda, except ordinances for first reading, public hearings, ordinances set for second reading, items 8P4, 8P5, 8P6, which are your commercial service airport contracts and must be voted on separately, and these are not on your pull list. And the following pull list items. Item 2B3, 8A1, 8A2, 8A4, 8A5, 8H1, 9A2, 14A1 and its supplement, 14A2, and 14A3. A motion to set the agendas in order.
So moved.
so moved and seconded by the Vice Chair, moved by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Commissioner Bastian on the agenda.
Thank you, Chair Rodriguez. I'd like to co-prime 8M1 with the approval of the sponsor of the item.
Show Commissioner Bastian co-priming 8M1.
Was that 8N as in Nancy or 8M as in Mary?
M as in Mary.
Thank you.
All right, and accepted by the sponsor. Commissioner Regalado on the agenda.
Yes, to co-sponsor 11A14.
Show Commissioner Regalado's co-sponsoring 11A14. Any additional co-sponsors or co-priming? All right. With that, all in favor of setting the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show the agenda passed.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gilbert, you're recognized.
I would move the 14 since none of them were pulled.
All right, it's been moved. The 14s have been moved by Commissioner Gilbert, seconded by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Seeing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show the 14s passed.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move the airport items.
Commissioner Cohen-Higgins moves. Does she have to do one at a time?
Yes, one at a time. The
what-
first one's 8P4.
AP1, AP4
8P4.
Second.
has
I
been
move
moved.
AP4.
Second.
Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, seconded by Commissioner Gilbert. Seeing no unreadiness, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The next one?
8P5.
I move AP5.
Commissioner
Second.
Cohen-Higgins moves AP5, seconded by Commissioner Regalado. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
8P6.
And Commissioner Cohen-Higgins moves AP6, seconded by Commissioner Gilbert. Seeing no unreadiness, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Show AP6 passed as well. And that was the last one, right, of the airport items?
Yes.
All right. So shall we move into first reading items at this time?
Yes. I'll
All
read
right,
them.
go ahead and read the items.
The first item is 4A, ordinance relating to the Building Better Communities Citizens Advisory Committee, amending sections 2-1801, 2-1802, 2-1803 and 2-1805 of the code, removing language referencing the county manager and updating language pertaining to committee member attendance, providing severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date. 4B is an ordinance authorizing issuance from time to time of Miami-Dade County, Florida, aviation commercial paper notes in an aggregate principal amount not exceeding $600 million outstanding at any one time for purpose of paying or reimbursing aviation department, together with other available funds and revenue for cost of certain improvements to county's airport facilities pursuant to provisions of amended and restated trust agreement, including Section 212A thereof, providing for establishment by subsequent resolution of terms, maturities, interest rates, and other details of such notes, providing for such notes to be payable from the proceeds of aviation revenue bonds authorized and unissued, authorizing and directing the officers, agents, and employees of the county and of the trustee and co-trustee to take all actions required by such notes, the trust agreement, and the provisions of this ordinance, and subsequent resolution for the full, punctual, and complete performance of all the terms, covenants, provisions, and agreements thereunder, providing severability, exclusion from the code, and an effective date. 4C is an ordinance creating and establishing a special taxing district in the county generally bounded on the north by Southwest 194th Street, on the east by theoretical Southwest 126th Avenue, on the south by theoretical Southwest 194 Terrace, and on the west by Southwest 127 Avenue, known and described as Global Estates Multipurpose Maintenance Special Taxing District, identifying services to be provided, authorizing and directing the mayor designee to cause to be maintained and operated various public improvements, and providing for exclusion from the code and an effective date. Those are your first reading items.
All right, any bifurcations on first readings?
I move them.
Seeing none, Commissioner Gilbert moves all bifurcation, all first reading items, seconded by Commissioner Lopez. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bastian. Commissioner Bermudez. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins.
4.
Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert.
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado. Commissioner Steinberg. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, public hearing items at this time, Madam Attorney.
Yes. The first item is 5A, resolution naming the new Sumatran tiger habitat at Zoo Miami as the Cecil and Anna Milton Family Foundation Stripes of Sumatra. And its supplement, 5B, is an ordinance granting petition of Legacy 56 owner LLC for establishment of a community development district generally bounded on the north by Southwest 344th Street, West Palm Drive, on the east by Southwest 196th Avenue, on the south by Southwest 348th Street, and on the west by Southwest 199 Avenue, creating and establishing Legacy Palm Drive Community Development District, providing for name, powers, and duties, providing description and boundaries, providing initial members of Board of Supervisors, accepting proffered declaration of restrictive covenants, providing severability, exclusion from the code, and an effective date, and its supplement. 5C is a resolution approving the plat of Delmas North Apartments. 5D is an ordinance relating to zoning, creating Section 33-26.1 and amending Section 33-1 of the code, clarifying standards and procedures applicable to certified recovery residences, providing process for certified recovery residences to obtain reasonable accommodations from land use regulations, amending Section 33-304.2, providing a completeness review period for processing of applications for reasonable accommodations, providing severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date, and its supplement. Those are your public hearing items.
All right, I have no public signed up to speak on any of these items, so any bifurcation, so public hearing is open, it's closed. Any bifurcations? Seeing no bifurcations, do I have a motion? Commissioner Gilbert moves the 5, seconded by Commissioner Regalado. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bermudez. Commissioner Cohen-Higgins.
Yes.
Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez. Commissioner Hardiman. Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado. Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastian. Vice Chairman McGee.
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, Madam Attorney, can we move into second readings at this time?
Yes. 7A, ordinance relating to the Children's Trust, amending Chapter 2, Article 103 of the Code, revising membership of the governing board and term limits to conform to amendments to Section 125-901 Florida statutes, providing severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date. 7B is an ordinance relating to the Rapid Transit System Development Zone, amending Section 33C-2 of the code, amending the Metro Mover subzone of the Rapid Transit Zone to add certain private properties, providing severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date. 7C is an an ordinance relating to zoning in the unincorporated area, creating section 33-284-63-3 of the code, amending the downtown Kendall Urban Center zoning district regulations to create the Trail Connector subdistrict applicable to certain parcels located on the west side of Southwest 70th Avenue, providing for development standards and related regulations applicable to parcels within the subdistrict, providing severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date. And I have a request to bifurcate item 7B by Senator Garcia.
All right, so 7B is bifurcated by Garcia. Do I have a motion on the other two? It's been moved by Commissioner Gilbert, seconded by Commissioner Lopez. You're recognized.
May I apologize, may I please be added as a co on 7A?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Regalado.
Yeah. And can I bifurcate 7C to make an amendment?
Sure. So at that point, we'll just take each one up separately.
That was going to be my recommendation.
So a motion on 7A as co-sponsored by Commissioner Steinberg. Is that fine? So Senator Garcia moves 7A, seconded by Commissioner Steinberg. Clerk.
And really, Mr. Chairman, and release 7B.
And release 7B. Okay, so then we're going to take up, so you're going to move 7A and 7B.
Yes, sir.
For Gilbert.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, could you ask the people in the audience, specifically the ones over here, to stop talking?
Yeah, there's like background noise. There's like, what is that called? What is that? The white noise?
It's like this
We can't
ambient,
call it
like
that.
noise.
We can't call it that. Sorry. So background noise, then we'll go back to background noise. All right. Well, Commissioner Hardeman's not paying attention, but he's paying attention. All right. We got a motion on 7A and 7B by Senator Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Steinberg. Seconded by Oliver Gilbert, because Commissioner Steinberg doesn't want to second the two of them. All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Hardeman. Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Milian Orbis. Commissioner Regalado.
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg. Commissioner Bastien. Commissioner Bermudez.
I say it loud, yes, so Commissioner Gilbert can hear me.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman McGee. Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Commissioner Regalado, you're recognized on 7C.
Thank you. 7C is my item, and as I explained at committee, it's taken us about 2.5 years to get this one done because it involved a land swap with MDX, which then became GMX, so you'll remember. This is an item that impacts the back of Dadeland. When I drafted it, there was a legislative hold on the Ludlam Trail, so I could not say that I'm connecting the underline to the Ludlam and the Snapper Creek. So I had to stop half a foot from the Ludlam Trail in my district. So I just wanted to see if it was okay with Commissioner Orbis, who has the hold, to mention Ludlam in the item so that we can fully connect the underline to the Ludlam. This creates a 26.5-mile trail when you put them all together. I'm happy to stay half a foot from the Ludlam, but I would like to connect all three trails, if that's okay with Commissioner Orbis, and she has the hold.
Commissioner Orbis, you're recognized
Commissioner,
on...
I think we should have met before this. I would have appreciated that. Perhaps we can add it at a later time.
Well,
We could have a sunshine about it and then add it.
The item is moving forward. This is the part of the Ludlam Trail that's in my district. I would just like to connect. We're adding a piece of the underline that'll connect the Ludlam to the Snapper Creek. It's just a half a foot. There's nothing to do after. It is what it is. It'll just be built with or without the half a foot.
I have the whole.
Okay, that's fine.
So we can definitely.
No need. I'm happy to move the item. Thank you.
All right, so it's moved as is without the change or whatnot. All right, so it's been moved by Commissioner Regalado, seconded by Commissioner Gilbert.
Well, I had a question, but I'll second it.
Second, and then you're recognized for a question.
I mean, maybe, we had a festive day yesterday. What just happened?
Don't ask, don't tell type of thing.
Don't ask. Okay, I
All right.
withdraw my question.
We have a motion, we have a second.
It's all good. It gets done either way.
I'll second it, despite the.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Gilbert. Clerk, please call the roll. Actually, this is a pulled item, right?
Yep.
Where are we?
Sevens.
Oh,
Yes.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Garcia. Commissioner Gilbert. Commissioner Gonzalez,
4.
Commissioner Hardiman, Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Emiliano Orbis, Commissioner Regalado,
Yes.
Commissioner Steinberg, Commissioner Bastien, Commissioner Bermudez,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen-Higgins,
4.
Vice Chairman McGee,
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
All right, now we'll move into the pool list, Madam Attorney.
Mr. Chair, just for the record, Commissioner Lopez would like to be listed as a co-sponsor on item 7B.
Ooh, she's coming out the gate strong, bold. Strong
Absolutely.
leadership, I like that.
Yes.
All right, show Commissioner Lopez co-sponsoring item, which one was it?
7B as in boy.
7.
And then on the pull list, would you like to go in order or?
Is this one of those things where Commissioner Gilbert is doing things in other members' districts again?
I think it's one of those things where Commissioner Higgins asked me on the record to take the item, and I did, but she could be listed as a co-prime,
Oh,
too.
that bait.
Yeah,
switch
yeah, that thing,
Commissioner
yeah.
Higgins did
I'm
before she left.
grateful. I'm grateful to Commissioner
Yeah.
Gilbert for having led that in my absence.
All right, all right. Well, but not so much the commissioner. Let me not get into that. All right, pool list, Madam Attorney, is D2B3 the first
That's
one?
the first one, yes.
All right, Commissioner from District 12, you're recognized.
Can't say the same thing about me, right? But anyways, welcome again, Vicky. Great to have you here. I'm going to support this item, obviously, but the only thing I want to tell the administration is I want to make sure we keep robust metrics because to have a clear understanding of the cost. I've been harping on metrics. I know the mayor's heard it. I know Mr. Morales has heard it for years. And the only thing I want when we have these pilot programs, let's keep in mind that we, have good metrics to see if it's something worth doing. I'm going to support it. I'm supporting the item. I just wanted to say that on the record because in the past, sometimes, I've expressed my concerns, both of you, all of you actually, that the metrics are really key because you can't manage what you can't measure. So, anyways, I'll move it.
It's been moved by Commissioner Bermudez, seconded by Commissioner Lopez. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. So item 2B3 passed. Item 8A1, Commissioner from District 12, you're recognized again.
Okay. 8A1 is, actually, I'm going to say the comments on both because really, I think I pulled both of the items, if I'm correct, right, Madam Attorney?
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
8A1, 8A2.
8A1 and
I'll make my
8A2.
comments on both so it won't be duplicative.
Awesome. Perfect.
Look, I'm going to support these items, but at some point I need to get an idea where the concessionaires that were shortlisted by this board, which I voted against, and we'll do it again, and the 11 vacant spaces at the airport, we need to get a report at some point where we are on those agreements. Has any of the, 10 entities that were awarded expressed that they're not interested, since some of them are coming down from Atlanta? Maybe because they didn't get the space they wanted. Have we started going through the pool of the concessionaires that the rest of us that weren't, would had to put it out to our community later on as to who would be interested? Has there been any discussions with anybody else? Basically, let us know where we're at because, I was not enamored of awarding contracts from the dais, still am not, without going through a process, which we did that day. That's why I voted against it. So I'd like to know where we're at with these concessionaires. All
right. So was that a question to the administration or you want to get a report?
If you answer it, then that'll give me the answer. I'm asking the administration.
Yeah.
Because I suppose they're the ones responsible for it.
Correct. And I've also not been updated by the airport or by the administration as to like who finally got in, who didn't. So I don't know that that's taken place. It just may have not taken place. But Chief Morales, Basil, you happen to be in town. I love it. All right, please introduce yourself and give us that answer if you may.
Good morning, Commissioners. Basil Bench, Deputy Director, Miami-Dade Aviation Department. Commissioner, to your question.
Basil, give me 1 second. Can we quiet? I don't know where it's coming from. I think it's from behind Commissioner Lopez, but it might be from the audience. Much better. Basil, go ahead.
Your question about the what we call the 30-day list, which is the list that the board directed us to consider for concessionaires that did not have a presence at the didn't have a presence at the airport and get an extension. I'm going to start over. I apologize.
We have a new coffee machine in the back. Has cortaditos, cappuccinos, the whole thing.
So, Commissioner, we are establishing a pool of concessionaires that will consist of the 45 concessionaires that we were directed to engage by this board. So once that pool is established, as any other spaces become available, we will go to that pool to select other concessionaires.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I ask a question. I'm going to support the item, but I'd like to ask one question from Basel now. We have him here. Thank you for that. Now, what happened with the original 10, or as
we are negotiating with those 12 concessionaires now.
Well, they're 12.
It is 12.
Somebody added 2. Oh,
no,
wow.
It was always 12. There were 12 locations.
Oh,
that we were negotiating. So we're negotiating with those now. We expect to have all of those agreements done by the end of the year. Then we will move forward to that list.
I'm going to support the item. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not going to let go of giving contracts from the dais. I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to make it. I'm like a pit bull on this one. And I'd like to know what's going on, because if the chair doesn't know, which scares the heck out of me too, then it would, it's an issue. So thank you. I don't know if there'll be other comments, but I'll move the item if there's a second.
It's been moved. It's been seconded.
Mr. Chair, Senator Garcia had pulled as well, both items.
Wait, Jerry, what did you say? I'm sorry?
I said Senator Garcia had also pulled both of these items, 8A1 and 8A2.
No, I know. Give me a second. Commissioner Conegas, did you? No? Okay. Senator Garcia is another pooling commissioner on 81 and potentially 8A2 as well.
It's. I think it's pretty much the same thing, but a different path on 81 and 882. Clearly, there was a mistaken oversight that was made on these contracts. I know the contract was executed in April. What was the mistake? Who made this mistake? And first of all, let me see. Who made this mistake? Who made this oversight?
So when we brought the item to the board for consideration, we used our standard form agreement. That's the agreement that the majority of our concessionaires follow. These two that are before you today are anomalies in our contract. So duty-free contracts are typically different, where we charge a percentage plus the rent. And in Global's in particular, they have a provision in their contract where their rent is actually included in their gross revenue. So in order to separate them and bring them more in line with what should be traditionally, we made those amendments.
All right, so those amendments, are those amendments in the actual contract itself that these amendments can be made?
No, the amendments are the ones that are presented to you.
No, I know. In the actual contract that the county went into with a vendor, is it in the contract, does it state that these amendments can be made?
I don't think I understand your question.
The question is, this is where I'm getting to. As a county operates, we have a boatload of attorneys, we have the county mayor's office, we have attorneys for the airport, and yet we come up with a contract that is an error. Then we, the county, if no one's picked up this error, would have lost $4.5 million. So my question is, within the contract itself, because in the private sector, if you enter into a contract with someone, you're binded by that contract. Whoever's fault it is, you signed it. You negotiated that contract. We presented that contract in good faith from the county to this vendor. I'm going to go ahead and approve this. But my point here is I want to find out what happens. Because far too often, in this county, we see issues that come like this before us every single time. And we stop questioning it. What happened? What are we going to do to make sure this doesn't happen again? Was the county attorney's office involved? Who were the people that were involved in this process to make sure this doesn't happen again? That's what I'm trying to get to.
So when we were negotiating the contract extension, we knew that there were two outliers. In order for expediency so that we could get the item to the board quickly, we brought the standard form agreement knowing that we were going to bring these two amendments later. So we had conversations with both of these vendors. They agreed to the provisions that are in the amendment and to bring these items separately.
So are the vendors here? Because now my question is, how do we know that that was the case?
They've signed these amendments.
They signed these amendments, but at the time that they signed this contract, did they sign those amendments at the same time?
No, they did not. The amendments were not prepared at the same time. Like I said, we brought the standard form agreement. We prepared the amendments afterwards.
Madam Mayor, my question to you is then, what are we going to set in place to make sure that when we offer these contracts, that we don't find ourselves in situations where we have to come back and amend these contracts?
You're recognized,
Chair.
Madam Mayor or Chief.
Commissioner Jimmy Morales, Chief Operating Officer. We have, I don't know how many concessionaires at the airport.
About 220.
So we come up with a standard agreement for that tries to cover all of them. Unfortunately, there are sometimes anomalies because of the way they operate or the nature of their business. I think what I'm hearing Basel say is that we came up with a standard agreement so that there was a standard you all could approve, knowing already at the time, and I think the two concessionaires knew at the time, that there were going to be amendments to reflect the nature of their business. And I think it was they wanted that. So I don't think, not to disagree, Commissioner, I don't think it was an error here. It was, we knew that it would have to be a little different, but we wanted at least a standard form to be approved, which covered all but two, knowing we would bring these amendments. So we knew this was a process. It was just.
So let me ask you this question. When was this agreement signed?
The agreements were brought to you on April 1st. They were executed, I believe, within 45 days of that.
And when was this amendment signed with the concessionaires?
They were signed sometime within the last 60 days.
Can you give me the dates?
I can.
Members, I apologize to slow down the process, but and I understand everyone says this is normal, standard
You don't
operation.
have to apologize. Whenever everybody else asks a question, they let them ask a question.
No, I know, but
Everybody ask a question.
we got a process and we got to move forward. But I know some folks.
No need to apologize, Senator. I would like to know though, genuinely would like to know like what are we trying to get to? Because I want to understand it. I may have a question myself.
What I'm trying to get to, if we sign a contract with a vendor, and they're telling me that they knew about it, and now they're coming back, I want to know what the dates of these contracts, the signing of these contracts when we signed one contract, and when the amendment was signed.
Okay. All right.
There are not signature forms on these.
Senator has the
but I can
floor,
get
guys.
that
So,
information.
Sorry?
but I have Bermuda's.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The signatures are not, the dates are not on the signature forms, but I can get that information to you, the dates that they were signed.
Think about this for a minute. I asked a question on the dates, and the dates, they don't have access to the dates. Look, I'm going to go ahead and sign this. Go ahead and approve this. But we have to be ready to ask questions of this, answer questions to this board. You and the administration. You're asking me to vote on an amendment to a contract that seems to me that it was done in error, that there was an omission. And yet I asked certain questions and I can't get those dates. And then we're all expected to vote on this in good faith. This is where I'm starting to have heartburn. And this is happening more and more with us. I have folks that stand up here and don't necessarily always speak in truth. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing. I'm not saying that at all. Same others. And this is why I start questioning some of these contracts that come before us.
Thank you, Senator. Commissioner from District 12, followed by.
Yeah, I'll be brief. Thank you, Chairman. I agree with the senator, but to Mr. Morales and the mayor and the administration, and me also to you, Basil. I think accountability is a metric, okay, and responsibility is a metric. I understand that these are standard contracts, but we should be told by you guys, we are signing that. When you were up here before, you could have said, not you per se, but the administration could say, we are signing this contract with the understanding that some vendors may require an additional change. Actually, you probably should have done it at the time. That's why I think we need to measure these things, and that's why I think we need to have accountability as a metric. Simple as that. This is as bad as the surprise I received when I found out that there were 12 concessionaires on something else we were voting on, which I had no clue. And neither did 7 members of this commission at the time. But anyways, I would just say to answer Mr. Morales, is, I agree with Senator Garcia, and I think accountability can be a metric.
All right.
No further questions, Mr. Chairman. I'm good.
Thank you, Senator. Commissioner from, I'm going to go to District 1 and then District 7.
Thank you,
Sometimes
Mr.
try to get
Chairman.
a second bite of the apple, so I'll leave you for last, and then you can just get it all in at the end.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And why I do agree that accountability and transparency, those are both metrics, and they're both very nice terms. That's not what I'm hearing here, though. What I'm hearing here is we're creating a straw man argument, like we created the boogeyman to actually say that something went wrong. So we asked staff a question. The question was, how did this amendment come to be? They said, you know what, we brought you standard agreements, understanding that we would have to bring these amendments later. This is the later. Yeah, this is the letter. Yeah, later. So I agree with Senator Garcia that I think that sometimes things come before us that are not necessarily as thorough as we would like. But I don't see this as one of those things. When I was briefed on the item, I understood completely that this was a part of the process. I understood how the initial, agreements, there was a rush to get it before us. I understood all those things. And so I don't think that this is a big deviation, especially since, and this is the key, if you were actually doing something to concessionaires at the airport that they didn't like and didn't support, they would be here. And we'd all have been lobbied ad nauseum to not support it. So that's a key indicator that it was a part of the process that they agreed to, because they're not actually objecting to it. And so I appreciate that we want transparency, and we always want up-to-date, clear, precise information. I appreciate that we would like to see things once, and we don't want to do amendments, but where amendments are part of the process and they're agreed to by concessionaires, I don't necessarily think that it fits into the other category. And I think Senator Garcia is completely right that in the past we have gotten things that I would have preferred come a different way and be better prepared. But I don't see that this is one of those things, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before you go to Regalado, if you could give me the chance for a minute.
Is it a rebuttal?
Yeah, just quick. Listen, you're
not rebuttaling, no.
No, there's no rebuttal. It's just to say this is not. I get the issue, the concessionaires, and if they would be upset, they would be here. This is more about the process in itself. And when you look at the memo, it says right here under the background, line 3. This is where sparks my interest. July 14th, the terms and conditions related to the rent payments and outside investment payments were inadvertently not aligned with those of contracts number. So something was left out. If we have all this professional staff, why was something left out? That's it. That's all I'm trying to question here.
Noted.
I'm good. Thank you.
No, good point. Commissioner from District 7, you're recognized.
Thank you. I don't have to apologize, but I usually do have to wait till the end. But that's fine. I just wanted to point something
Have
out.
all the time you need right
Exactly. I appreciate it. I appreciate
Sort
you.
of.
I think Commissioner Gilbert's point is interesting, but I think it's kind of like apples and oranges, right? The concessionaires that are included in this and the terms that are being changed is obviously fine by them. If not, they would be here. But that wasn't the original problem. The original problem was who gets to be a concessionaire, right? That was the original issue. That's the issue that we brought up. Why is it that this is offered to a select group of people? And I think that's an issue that is not in this item, but obviously that is the issue that is the undertone of this conversation. So I think it would be helpful if staff understood that from our perspective, especially those of us that are not on the airport committee, right? We're not on the airport committee. We don't get to vet this at the committee level. There is in our community a large misunderstanding about how the airport works. And we are all sensitive to that. And that's why you should endeavor to be as competitive and as transparent, right? And as forthright as possible. So I was briefed on it. I didn't have issues with this item, but I don't think this conversation is necessarily about this item. This conversation is about the concern with the lack of process that begot this item. And I think that is something legislatively that we could tackle, right? Because Commissioner Bermudez is right. It was a last minute addition to a very complex item. And this board the people who sit on this board might never vote on concessionaires again because of the long-term aspect of the item that was approved on this dais. But that being said, we are not precluded from legislatively learning from the process and ensuring that it doesn't happen in the future. Because at the end of the day, where you get the mistrust in government is when people believe that we're picking winners and losers and deciding a procurement process from the dais. So I don't think it's about this item. I think it's about process.
Commissioner Hardiman.
The mistrust in government doesn't just come from the people towards the government. It also includes those individuals like us who sit on the board and the government. And so what that means is, you can have a discussion with a department. You can have a discussion with leadership and say, okay, what is the vehicle that we need to move this from here to there, from point A to point B? Understanding that carrying that load from point A to point B, we want these certain characters. And then along the way, after we've resolved the issue, you realize that, hey, you had a few extra characters on your back when you carried it from A to B. Hey, this isn't necessarily described the way that we thought it was to be described, because instead of including new individuals, you have new individuals and old individuals wearing masks as new individuals. So there are a lot of these sort of issues I think that brings up, that creates the mistrust in government when we go about doing these things. And I think what happens is the reason that you don't see the individuals, I can't say that for certain, but what I'll say is this. When I think about why people are here or why people are not here, of course they want this item to pass. But I think understandably so, no one wants to really go back and have the conversation about what was going on at that particular meeting and clarifying what it is that we meant on the dais. Because I think that there's some clarification that needs to be had about what we intended to do that day on the dais. But you do realize now, I think everyone realizes now, that this thing is so far beyond sort of our grasp, especially for the concessionaires that were historic in the airport. They don't have to ever come see you again. Forget about it. The next commissioner after you, they don't have to see that person again. Forget about it, right? And so when we talk about a rush, we rushed it. We didn't take the time to actually ensure that the provisions that we needed in place were there. And so therefore, from that point, I do have some sort of leniency towards the administrative arm of our airport, because they tried to implement what it is that we told them to implement. And we gave them a mess. We gave them a mess in a rush and expected it to come out the way that we intended it to. We should have taken more time, right? But we haven't, and we are here now. And so, I think that there's a discussion that we do need to have with the airport. I think there's a discussion that we need to have with the administration that spells out exactly what it is that we're trying to do. Certainly, the conversations that were certain things were not necessarily codified the way that we thought that they should have been, right? Which I think give better direction to our administrative arms so that we understand what's happening. But truly, what's happening at the airport for many people is a mystery, right? It's a mystery as to what bays or locations are actually available It's a mystery about how people go and negotiate from one group to the next. It's the mystery about, well, why does this person and not that person? It's a mystery as to how people come into our airport and then we lose. I mean, Oliver Gilbert, you remember this discussion. Part of the reason that we started the discussion about choosing winners and losers was particularly because we were concerned that the airport didn't reflect the community. And then from the agreement that we ended up making with these concessionaires, we started to lose people who were historic to our community that were already at the airport. That wasn't our intention, right? So, what I would particularly like to see, to summarize my comments to the airport, is a recommendation. You don't have to bring it here necessarily, but at least a recommendation to my office that says if we're having these troubles, if you can help us clarify these things with some sort of direction from the board, help us get that. So that therefore then we can do the things that we initially planned on doing. Because I know that the airport understands its mission. It's just that right now, we gave them as a board a very difficult way of going about getting it done. And so what I like to see, much like I think, which is what Commissioner Regalado said on the record, is just some clarity. Clarity for not just only the people of Miami-Dade County, but also clarity for us. And I think if we have that, then we can have that tough conversation that seems like people are, sort of afraid to have about these issues, but then also move on, because at some point we need to move on. Because like I say, there's no real opportunity to make changes to this airport now for another how many years? Is it 25?
It's 15.
Okay, 25. Because the next group that comes in says, hey, I need another, that's what happened to us. So, but hopefully this board really does want to have that conversation and we're not just playing the lip service, because I think that the airport that we have needs to improve. It needs to be much better. When I travel and I visit other airports and I see the offerings that they have, the way that they provide a service, that's what this is about. This is about ensuring that our airport is competitive. Right now, we are blessed by being in South Florida. But it doesn't take long for technology to change, for people to say, you know what, maybe South Florida, Miami isn't the place to be. Maybe there's a better spot that we can have that's just off or away from South Florida, that it doesn't really trouble us to travel another 35 minutes for. Maybe we don't become this sort of not only destination for people, but also cargo to be. Maybe we can find a way to get it cheaper. Maybe we can find some bum, I can't even say that, I can't say it on the record. Yeah, but I almost said it. But we could find some small town that's just near us, that hasn't quite made a splash yet, is looking to improve upon their economic condition, and they'll give us, or we can provide a certain acreage of land, and that becomes the new airport. And it's only 45 minutes away from Miami, right? So I think that we really, truly, we have to really think about what it is that we're offering people. We know we have the cargo. I think that is what it is. We're making some improvements, but how we treat the people that come into our airport, the services that we offer people in our airport, how it is that we give it, present ourselves to them is really important. And all over the world, airports are doing better and better and better. I know that we intended through this item to make improvements, because in our item is baked into it a certain percentage of investment that must be had. But it's not a reimaginative investment. It's not someone coming in and saying that we want to do things differently. Really and truly what it is that it's just a refresh of the spaces that are there. And some need refreshing. I understand that. And so we'll have that. But that doesn't change the way that people see and use and consider airports. And I know that, you serve you all serve at the pleasure of the mayor, and we can appreciate that. And I wish you all the creative sort of freedom that you all need. But I really and truly mean it. If there are things that you believe that would be best presented from this dais that would make improvements in our airport, I would like to hear it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins moves item 8A1 and 8A2, seconded by the Vice Chair. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show item 8A1 and 8A2 passed. Before moving on to the next item, I understand that Commissioner Cohen-Higgins may have a motion at the end of the meeting that I'll recognize, but if it has to do with airport, I'll recognize you now that the airport staff is here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to my colleagues for the interest in our airport. I know we all share the same, and to our Deputy Director, I do want an update on the Bristol issue, since we're having an in-depth discussion about time-sensitive, very important issues at our airport. I know that negotiations are ongoing. They've been ongoing. I do want to put a deadline and a cap on those negotiations because the bleed just continues month after month, right? So I know we're working on it, has been where we've been, but I really think that a deadline needs to be placed on the Bristol negotiation. So if you can illuminate us with a very brief update, I'd appreciate it. And my intention, frankly, is, assuming our chairman agrees and finds this permissible, I'd like on our December 16th an agenda item, should negotiations end in an impasse, a decision to be made by this board on how we're moving forward on the issue so that it's not carrying into 2026.
Well, not just, and before, Basil, before you answer, thank you. To add to that, and you would have no reason to know this, but I've been fairly involved as the chair, not just by the 16th, but I understood I was supposed to receive an item to put on the agenda for today's meeting. So can you give us an update, like why don't we have an item for today and we're putting at risk, I mean, we just extended security contracts to protect our staff and our employees, yet there's 200 plus employees that are at risk if American Airlines decides to move their business elsewhere because we can't make this decision. Like, what's holding this up?
Thank you, Commissioner. So late last week, we received the appraisals from, late the week before last, we received the appraisals from both Bristol and our appraiser. Bristol made some modifications to their appraisal. We got it back. We've had conversations with Bristol, and we are set for negotiations. As recently as yesterday, I had a conversation with the principal of Bristol. We're set to have another conversation tomorrow, and we did agree to set a date, and if this board directs us to a specific date, to end our negotiations and bring something to the board.
All right, so whatever that date needs to be on your end, prior for it to make it to the 16th agenda. And because you know this now, don't bring it as a late item. Give me the week that I need to agenda it properly. So a week prior to that, I need to have the item on my desk so that I can put it on the agenda and have time to review it. And then we'll make a decision on December 16th on that. Commissioner Bermudez, you're recognized.
I was going to say that if it needed a second, I would do it. I certainly, this is about the, Mr. Chair, if I may, if you haven't briefed, imagine how the rest of us feel. So it's about the process, and it's not about just, Basil who's here and the airport, but it's just across the board. But the airport's, as the commissioner of District 12, most businesses, I probably have the most businesses that work with the airport. And it concerns me that, and let me say something about the process. I don't want to sound like Nick Saban, but the process always has to be improved. You always got to make it better. And, one way to make it better is to make sure that things don't land on our laps at the last moment. So we can make, as the elected officials, a conscientious and good decision, whether we say yay, nay, maybe, but the process is very important. And the improvement of the process continues to be something you should always be improving. Now I sound like Nick Saban, but that's the way that, so if this is going to go, I'll second it if it needs to be seconded, and if not, it's to your pleasure.
I mean, I don't know if it needs an official motion, but for all intents and purposes, Commissioner Cornigan's moves to give a directive that the administration, i.e. the airport, brings an item to me at least a week before the next meeting, which is December 16th, on Bristol. Seconded by Commissioner Bermudez. Is that fine?
On the motion,
Commissioner Gilbert, you recognize on the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm completely comfortable with whatever the will of the board is. I think we probably should be mindful that we don't use a time constraint imposed by us to prejudice our negotiating position, because it is an actual negotiation. So if I were somebody who was negotiating in opposition to us right now, I would know that time wasn't on the county side because we have to rush an agreement. So I'm comfortable with it coming. It could come this meeting, next meeting. I'm more comfortable with us having the very best deal we can for the county. And so whatever that process needs to be, it needs to be. If you're saying you want it on the 16th and you need to have it a week before that so you're saying to staff, they have to get it to you next week. That's what if
Mr. Chair, I understand Commissioner Gilbert's position, and I actually don't disagree with him.
Well, he still has the floor, though.
Okay, but since he always gets the last word, apparently.
No,
every once in a while, I'd like to get the
I'll
last
call
word.
you now. Trust me, I will. I will. Commissioner Gilbert.
I don't know.
You have the floor, but
it's.
I caught the first half of what you said.
I think that we ought to be mindful that our actions don't prejudice our position. And so I just want us to be careful with that. You're saying that the item has to be on your desk by next week. That means they have to negotiate this week. So assuming they want to negotiate this week, there's no guarantee that the other party is available during that time. So yeah, so I think that we ought to temper our expectations about that based on the availability, at least, of the other party to negotiate.
So
they can't just do it.
Okay, so hold on. Everybody hold on for 1 second. Good? All right, I'm going to go to Commissioner Bermudez, but 1 second. So just to verify in your motion, when you reread it or whatnot, I actually need it by this Thursday. So 12/4. December 4th is the date. If they don't, and to Commissioner Gilbert's point, if they don't want to or make themselves available to negotiate, we will make the decision for them. But before December 31st, this board needs to make a decision, or there needs to be a negotiated agreement, because American Airlines hasn't said this, but they need to make their own decisions as well. And I'm not risking one of our largest economic partners, corporate partners of this county, to take that business elsewhere and vacate 200 plus employees. So I understand your point, Commissioner Gilbert. I actually agree with it. It's just we do need to make a decision by December 31st, and our last meeting is the 16th. So Commissioner Bermudez, and then the.
Yeah, I'm going to support the motion anyways. I didn't know if there could be a Solomonic, solution to this to extend it to January. I leave that up to Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. But I want to clarify something. If we're trying to get the best deal for the county, and the rules of the game are X, then I don't care how high priced a lawyer they have. The rules of the game are X. Part of negotiation is trying to delay things. So then you force the county to enter into a bad deal. So I respectfully disagree and agree in part with Commissioner Gilbert because of the fact that if I was a vendor, and I'm not, but if I was, and I knew that I was negotiating with the county and this is the problem we've had with our RFPs, our RFQs, same thing happens over and over again. We need to have a clear process. And if I was a vendor and I knew that this day is here and this administration would say, these are the rules and you've got to follow the rules, then I would probably tell my counsel or whoever's negotiating the deal, whether it's the CEO, the council, whatever, these are the deadlines. We need to do it by this day. And that is what I mean when I say we need to improve the process. Very simply put. It doesn't mean that I want a worse deal for the county. And by the way, if there is an agreement and at some point there's a better deal to be had by both the county and the vendor, they can come up here and say, guys, I'm giving you a better deal. I don't think any of us would say no. We'd probably say yes, and it'd be a quick yes.
We'll welcome it.
So that's all I've got to say, whatever Commissioner Cohen-Higgins wants to do.
All right, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Bermudez and Commissioner Gilbert, for the comments, all of which I agree with. To our Deputy Director, how long have we been negotiating Bristol?
So we've been in direct negotiations since we've received these last appraisals for a couple days.
No. How long has the Bristol issue been an issue where we have been in a situation that we have been trying to rectify, where we had to order appraisals, but the negotiations commenced way before that? The appraisal ordering was received recently, but the negotiations commenced way before that. So with that clarity and context provided, how long have we been negotiating Bristol?
So this conversation has been happening for well over a year.
Over a year. And our largest airport economic partner is bleeding month by month. We are dealing with a hostage situation similar to Port Miami. A deadline is being asked because it is far overdue. So when we have our chairman saying by December 16th, where it should have been today, it is accurate and it is factual. And I want a closure to this issue so that we are saving hundreds of jobs and we are saving our largest airport partner. Thank you. And so I don't know if there needs to be an actual motion made. It's been moved, I think, and
Yeah,
I
you have
think
a motion
Commissioner
already on the
Bermudez
floor.
seconded the motion.
December 4th
But we
is the
need to
deadline.
bring this in for a landing. Their availability is of no consequence to me at this point. If they're not available, they're out on holiday. We will take action as a board. We have that power and we will utilize it. So I hope that I have my colleagues' support on simply setting a deadline to get this plane landed, no pun intended. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
All right, and to clarify, the motion is just a directive to the administration to have by 12/4, by this Thursday, an item for the chair, i.e. yours truly, to place on the agenda for the December 16th meeting. And it's been moved, it's been seconded by Commissioner Bermudez.
Mr. Chairman, you already had a motion on the floor.
Yeah, that's her
No,
motion.
the motion on the floor was made by Commissioner Bermudez and probably seconded by someone else. It was initially the motion to approve the item.
No, it was Commissioner Cohen-Higgins' motion.
Okay, I'm telling you.
And Commissioner Bermudez seconded it. All right, Vice Chairman. Oh, no, the items have been approved. This isn't the items is that what you're asking, Commissioner Hardiman? The items 8A1 and 8A2 were approved already.
Yeah, this was her motion.
Yes, those were approved. Yeah, this is a discussion on Chief Morales.
Thank you, Chairman. Jimmy Morales, Chief Operating Officer. I just want to put this in context. We keep referring to them as a vendor. This is not a traditional procurement process. This is an entity that has a long-term lease under very favorable terms to them by administrations ago, and also a long-term relationship with American, not so favorable to American. And we're trying to help resolve this. They have no legal obligation to sell to us. And that's why I think we've had protracted negotiations, because I don't want to think we're just delaying the process. We're trying to get the best price possible, but we get the direction. We're trying to bring this home quickly, but that's why it's taken long, is they have no legal obligation and have been holding out for very high prices, and we've been working them down. So I just want to put that in context.
All right, Commissioner from District 7, you're recognized.
Yeah, just one more thing. This is a super complex issue, and for those of us that have been briefed by Ralph on this, we know kind of the inner workings of it, and there is litigation, so I'll keep my comments brief. But I think it's important for everyone to recognize that this is a situation in which the life of the lease is longer than the life of the building. And that's important, because that is why we find ourselves in this situation. So I think that as a board, and I actually have an item that looks at this on a bunch of different parcels in the airport and at the port, where the county entered into long-term leases, and for different reasons, the lease term is longer than the life of the building. So I think there is a lesson learned here that this board needs to take an official policy on. I think we need to take a policy position, because moving forward, the last thing that we want is to be hijacked in this matter. Whether it impacts American or not, it's just bad policy to have a lease that is longer than the life of a building, because then you have someone that's not investing in the capital, the building is falling apart, and they still want 30, 40, 50 years. It's just bad business. It's just bad business. So the item has been submitted for a committee, but I just think it's important for everyone to know that there is a lesson learned from this, and that is we should not enter into leases where there isn't a capitalization provision, and where people are penalized for basically negotiating with the goodwill that they received from the county. Because that's the other side of this, right? They received a good lease term from the county, one that is more beneficial to them than for the county, and they continue to play on that lease to the detriment of the county and its partners.
Agree. All right, with that, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Please have that to me by this Thursday. All right, back on the pool list, item 8A4, Commissioner from District 13, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 84 and 85, I pulled them both, and it's a similar question. I'm seeing we have an increase in contract from MI by 15 million to 35 million. I'm trying to find out what's the justification, what happened, why is the scope increasing?
So, Commissioner, both of these items are program management consulting contracts that are tied to our capital improvement program. We have advanced the timing of our capital improvement program, thereby these services needed to be increased.
What are the services that are being increased?
So their program management, Hill is actually responsible for South Terminal, the South Terminal extension, and our terminal-wide bathroom project. CBRE Heary, Turner Townsend is responsible for Terminal D expansion, Central Terminal redevelopment, Phase 1 and 2, and I believe the modernization project for Terminal D.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move them, but again, communication would be very helpful. If we had some communication on these, maybe I wouldn't have to pull these. But the reality is that we're seeing an increase in the scope, and we agreed to one contract. Go ahead.
Yeah, the scope is the same.
The scope is the same.
We've advanced the project, so the projects are moving along more quickly.
Fair.
All right, and Senator, you're moving 84, 85, and 982, right?
I don't think I did anything with 982.
Yeah, you're the pool. Oh no, you're the pooling commissioner on 84 and 85. You're right. All right, so you move those two, seconded by Commissioner Gilbert. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Show the items pass. Commissioner from District 12, you're recognized on 9A2.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to support this, but I just want to make a comment because I noticed that District 12 is not included, and I think it's important to include all the districts because the entire county is interconnected. Whatever happens in one affects the other, especially when we talk about environmental concerns. I think 11, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I am, is also not included. But I think that, and look, I'm fine with it. I love Tropical Park. It's the chairman's district. And, you know, that's fine. But District 12 is sensitive areas. It borders Everglades National Park and contains the Everglades management areas. So at some point, I just think that when it's a countywide issue, there's no reason why it shouldn't include all the districts. You know, I love A.D. Barnes Park. I think that's in Commissioner Orbis's district. But
this is Bonanza.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody is included. That's all. And I'm supportive of it. I love it. I'm glad for everybody. But this is an issue that should be of countywide impact to everybody. And my district in particular abuts the Everglades management area. And I think it's an important thing for a lot. We have parks, actually, that are right there. Right there. If you go to 137th and 8th.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Steinberg, you move the item, or you just move the item? All right. It's been moved. It's been seconded by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Show the item pass. Madam Attorney, is that my last agenda item?
You had 8H1 pulled by Senator Garcia.
8H1.
Yes.
You're recognized, Senator Garcia, on 8H1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this has to do with parks. It has to do with a deeding of a contract. So I just appreciate what Commissioner Cohen-Higgins is doing with this, but I do have a question of the administration in reference as chairman of the Park Committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the ability to chair that committee. I really much appreciate it. But I did send a memo out to the mayor's office dated November 7th, 2025. And I'm yet to get a response. We asked for to be responded by, what was the date? November 21st, 2025. And I'm yet to receive a response from the mayor's office. So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'm trying to figure out where is the funding for the CIIP program, which has to do with all of our parks. And in the memo, I asked for a couple of items that I'm going to read into the record right now, since I couldn't get it done through the proper channels. So, Madam Mayor, please let me know when we could respond to. I'm asking the mayor. I would like the mayor to respond.
You're recognized.
Because I would like to see when we could get a response to this memo that I asked. And the questions are a detailed analysis of the countywide infrastructure investment program, which is a CIP budget amount for the fiscal year 2021, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 24, 25. The detailed analysis of budget amounts and actual expenditures in CIP for those years, for the same 5 years, by commission district, a detailed analysis of CIP for the current fiscal year 25-26, amount funded, not funded, and subsequent funding changes, such as reappropriations of available funds, identifying all newly funded and defunded projects by commission district, and projections for CIP for the next 5 years. Commissioners, what I'm trying to do is figure out, during this last budget cycle, some of these monies were shifted to projects that we all voted on for approval. And it's not just about Amelia Earhart Park, it has to do with all of our districts, and yet I sent this memo out and I'm yet to get a response. So Madam Mayor, when can you answer any of these questions right now or see when we can get a response to this memo?
Madam Mayor, or staff, but can you?
Right, through the chair. Senator, my understanding is that you've had a chance to meet with Roy Coley and Christina, who's gone over the specifics to your district, and I know we're trying to schedule a meeting. Hopefully, we will get to that next week, and we can discuss it further at that time.
Madam Mayor, but that's not my question. Again, we talk about process and transparency. As a commissioner, as a chairman of parks, I ask for certain information from you and your staff. Your staff is yet to respond. Your staff is yet to respond on information that I think we should have in our hands. And I'm trying to figure out what is the process, what is the holdup, because I think it's imperative that the residents of this community know exactly what is happening with these funding, and especially every single one of us in our commission districts as it relates to park funding.
Of course. Madam Mayor, can we, and I see the directors here, can we provide him a response? Obviously, the response, you don't have it here today is what I'm seeing. Can we get a response for him? We're in December, before the year end or before the next commission meeting.
We certainly can put something in writing. We have met individually with each commissioner regarding their particulars, and I understand that the senator is asking for a more global picture. As we've explained, we have much less money in that pot than we've had previously because of actions at the state level, and that has naturally compromised our ability to go forward with projects we'd hoped.
Understood. Let's just, Director, if you can get with the senator, please, to make sure that his
But Mr. Chairman, the problem is that we have gotten together. We've had a meeting. I asked for these in a private meeting. I asked for it in a public setting, and I'm yet not getting the answers. As a matter of fact, I've been trying to get a meeting with the mayor as well. Thank you. Finally got a response this morning before the county commission, so I appreciate that. And what I just want to find out, why can't we get simple questions answered with information that we should already have?
I'm sure that.
If we've met with every single commissioner right here, that means they have it already. And I think it's important that the public know exactly where these dollars are being, where are they, where they're not. And Madam Mayor, I got a great deal of respect for you personally, but I think it's important that we respect the commission and respect the chairmanship of all of us, and respect the voters when we ask for information, and it's not getting to us.
Madam Mayor, please put something together for the senator in response to his, I haven't seen that memo or email, but by the 16th, so that he can have it before and he can express his concerns then if needed.
We'll certainly put something together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one last thing. Not certainly put something together. Answer the questions to the memo. That's what I would like to see.
That's what putting something together means.
No. In this place,
my
putting something
words.
together is throw something at you. I want the questions answered.
No. Put something together to respond to his questions, of course. All right. With that, Commissioner Gilbert moves item 8H1, seconded by Commissioner Regalado. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, show the item passed. All right, Madam Attorney, is that my last item on the agenda and pool list?
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
All right, I'm going to go. You have another item?
No, I'm motion. I was confused.
Oh, I'm going to go around now for motions. Hold on. Let me start at the far end. Commissioner Bermudez, do you have anything?
I think we have one. Turn your mic on.
You can read it on behalf of Commissioner Bermudez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and I have other motions that are the same, the legislative approval. May I read them all together?
You may read them all together.
Pursuant to Rule 5.06A4 of this board's rules of procedure, Chairman Rodriguez, Vice Chairman McGee, Commissioner Cohen-Higgins, Commissioner Bermudez, Senator Garcia, Commissioner Gilbert, Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Milian Orbis, and Commissioner Regalado each move to extend indefinitely the approval period for all legislative requests eligible for an extension made by each respective commissioner. Additionally, Commissioner Hardiman moves pursuant to Rule 5.06A4 of this board's rules of procedure to extend for 90 days the approval period for all legislative requests eligible for an extension made by Commissioner Hardiman.
All right, so it's been moved by Commissioner Bermudez and seconded by Commissioner Hardiman. Yeah. All right, all in favor of Commissioner Hardiman. What is the difference between the generic one and the one that she read specifically and kind of called? You don't want it indefinitely, I guess it's the difference? I got it. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Unreadiness. All right.
Were you about to say something, Commissioner Hardiman?
Yes,
You want to change
Commissioner
yours to
Hardiman.
indefinitely?
Do I want mine indefinitely?
Yes.
No, you know how I feel about holds.
Thank you.
And this is why it's not indefinitely. So I just want you all to understand what you're doing. But,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
And I agree with them, but the system's a system. You got.
But you want it, but the system's a system, so use it, right? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Show all those holds extended indefinitely. Well, it's most of them.
When he brings back his motion, I'm going to support him.
But mine is nay. My answer is nay. But
All right. Commissioner Hardiman, you're recognized. Or was that it?
no, that's not it. Thank you for recognizing, as you put it, the far end of the dais.
Wow.
That's what you said. I didn't say it.
A year in.
on a very
Still gonna
on a
bring
very
that up.
serious note, this is an issue for the Water and Sewer Department. I know I saw some representative here earlier, but I want to make this known on the record, please. This is something that I've discussed prior. I brought it up in certain issues. I'm just not I'm not satisfied that our constituency is being serviced in this regard, though. Miami-Dade County owns, the Water and Sewer Department particularly, a pump station at an address of 781 Northwest 55th Street. I remember this pump station being developed because I was in the city of Miami at the time, and the county threatened a moratorium on building permits if they didn't have this water pump station built. Now, this station is built, as I put it, between 7th Court and 9th Avenue. And it is just north of 54th Street, so on 55th Street. One thing we know about that area generally is that it's higher ground. So we typically don't see a lot of flooding in that area. Ever since this pump station was built, if it rains, it floods on that street. The depth of the flood easily exceeds 1.5 feet. And we have government employees that constantly, and have constantly for years actually, because this is how long we've been dealing with this matter, have reached out to me about this particular matter. Now, the thing about it is that the contractor has long gone. The complaint came initially, obviously, before I actually became a county commissioner. But the problem still lingers. And we are afraid, those of us who, the constituency who lives on that street, that you've taken what was supposed to be a problem in other places and made it a problem for people on that particular street. The one thing that we can say, is that one of the things that we talked about in that area was that it's landscaped. So it was supposed to hide the pump station. But the way that they landscape it, or at least that they maintain it, they don't hide the pump station. It's like a hedge in front of the pump station. So it's not as pretty as we thought it was going to be. But particularly, a house was supposed to be at that location. That's what it was for. It was a 5,000 square foot lot or so. And so now it is a pump station. But it does absolutely nothing for the people who live on that street. The people who live on that street, if it rains, they're trapped in their homes. The cars that are parked in the swell, the tires, and I have pictures of it in my phone from constant, messaging that I've been sent. The almost half the tire is covered in that sort of thing. So no one, no woman, child, or anyone, they can't go outside properly if you had to be somewhere, Mr. Coley, unless you were wearing rain boots that are up to your calf. You're not going to be able to make it to work decent and in proper shape. Any leather shoes or anything that you had like that will be fully covered in water. And we just don't understand what you need from us in the constituency and also on this dais to remedy this problem. I particularly, I don't want it to be, okay, let's now chase the contractor who's long gone, because that seems like it takes more time. What it seems that we need is some sort of action immediately to ensure that this area does not flood. In other areas where it floods generally, particularly in my district, I'll just speak about mine, and you put a temporary pump station near that pump station, it does not flood. So I don't know what it is about this one. I don't know if it was installed incorrectly. I don't know if particularly those who are generally very good at what they do, which are our inspectors, I don't know if they missed the mark on this, but I can tell you that it's been a complete nightmare for those people who live on that street. And so, with that being said, we need to know, and I'm asking this from the board because I'm sort of taken aback as far as what we can do. The only thing that I know that usually gets action done are motions, right? So if I move that you take, every precaution. If I make a motion today for you to act on this, it could particularly have budgetary effects because you may need to spend money. But I don't want to waste time between now and then for us to solve this problem. So if you can give me some response, and then in your response, maybe then I can consider a proper motion to make so that we can address this issue.
You recognize, and Commissioner Hardiman, I also believe in there. So you're going to, based on his answer, either make a motion, another observation, or a request for information, and/or possibly asking the county to use its emergency powers to address this issue.
Correct.
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Hardiman, I'm not familiar with the pump station you're speaking of, whether we're talking about a stormwater pump station or wastewater pump station. Makes no difference if you would allow your staff to meet with me and give me all the information. Of course, it's your option if you want to make a motion, but we're happy to send staff out immediately, evaluate the pump station, the condition, and see what we can do and report back to you.
Does that satisfy you, Commissioner Hardiman?
So my question for you is this. I'm not concerned with the report. Like, I don't need you to report to me. What I need you to do is to remedy the problem that we're having at that particular site. That particular site is 781 Northwest 55th Street. We can get there in no time. If we left here, we can get there in less than 10 minutes. It's not very far. And so what I like to do is have the flooding cease on that street. And I don't know if it means then that you have to do something to the actual street, or if it's the actual pump station, or whatever it may be, because I realize that it takes more. But what I would like to see is just some action. Your report to me is of no consequence beyond just keeping me necessarily informed, because what we need is the action. So it's almost like it's like if a tree fell in the avenue, right? I want the tree removed. I don't need you to come back and report to me that it was a maple tree. It was, erected 60 years ago, and now that it's fallen, we should replace it with 3 other maple trees in these other particular areas. Like, you can save the time for the report for me. What I would like to see is, and I don't know, maybe because I'm asking you because you would know better. Like, you're the professional in this matter. And so, what does it take, particularly for you, to, when you go out there, when your people go out and they say, it seems that we're having these issues, for you to move to do something about it? and then come back and tell me later, hey, this is what we did about it. We may need this, even ratification. I'm fine with a ratification. But it's just that bad. It's just that serious on that street, the way the flooding is. I'm asking you, what can you do after you've gone out and observed it today, for instance, right? To say, we're going to make a change to this, and this is how we're going to do it.
And that's exactly what I meant by reporting back to you, which is sharing with you what you can expect from us. We go determine whether we're talking about stormwater, wastewater. Is it an elevation issue? Is it a mechanical pump issue? What is it that's causing the problem? We go identify it. We tell you what our plan is to solve it.
Okay. How much time do you need for that?
I would need at least a week to get all the information together on a site to determine what the problem is.
Okay. So if you had another week beyond that, you could give me your assessment and what you decide to do.
Sure. Absolutely.
So my motion for this body would be, I move to allow for the 2 weeks. So we respect then your written report about that site within those 2 weeks, or at the end of the 2 weeks. And also to give the and I don't think they need this, but I'll make it in the motion, give the county mayor the authority to spend the dollars necessary in order to remedy the flooding that is occurring on the street by way of the Miami-Dade County's construction at that particular site. That's my motion.
Hearing a motion here in a second. Mr. Attorney, can you repeat that motion for clarity? There are some members here that need clarity for it.
Don't do it to him. He could probably just use the tape.
You okay with that? All right, hearing the motion, hearing a second by Commissioner Cohen-Higgins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All against? Motion passes. Are there any other questions or concerns? Any other motions before we adjourn?
Oh, Mr. Chair, just want to take a moment. Personal privilege. Yes. I just want to introduce a new team member, District 6. I'm my Deputy Chief of Staff, Adrian Fernandez-Romani, who's behind us. Welcome him to the county family, and looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Adrian, are there any other matters, concerns? Commissioner Gilbert.
I'd like to formally congratulate Christina, our new interim director of OPBA.
Congratulations.
And I think they have a motion to read for me.
Motion? For County Attorney, you have a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Gilbert moves to have the $500,000 in countywide non-departmental funds for the Orange Blossom Classic distributed as follows: $300,000 in grant funds to Orange Blossom Football Classic LLC for the costs associated with hosting the event, $100,000 in grant funds to the Alabama State University Foundation for its participation in the event, and $100,000 in grant funds to the FYFL United Inc. for community programs.
Got it. Thank you. Got it. Good. Second. Anything else? That's it. Motion made to adjourn. Adjourn.
We need a vote on that. We need a vote on the motion.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. Do we have a second to Commissioner Gilbert's motion? Second by Commissioner Bermudez. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Seeing the motion passes. Motion to adjourn granted.
No.